Hi, my name is Chloe Olette, and today we're going to talk about Poinsettia Production in North Central Florida. I'm Chloe Olette, as I said. Our other group members are Devin Davis, Juliana Robbins, Kathleen Condi, and Savannah Holtz. Okay, let's get started. Poinsettia's scientific name is Euphorbia pulcherrima. It's a plant that's native to Mexico. It has modified leaves in the form of bracts that are very colorful, and the male and female flowers are in the center of the bract. There are over 100 varieties available in many different colors, and that's one of the things that really draws people to buying the poinsettia is this colorful display. They're typically grown in greenhouses, so that's perfectly suited for this class. Let's move on to propagation. So poinsettias are usually cloned from a mother plant and propagated vegetatively as a vegetative cutting. Growers may choose to order pre-rooted cuttings or root them on their own. Rooting on your own can be a bit costly, so sometimes it's just easier for a grower to already have liners shipped in that have rooted cuttings in them. They can start them from there. This planting of rooted cuttings, it begins in August because they want the crop to finish around the holiday season, or Christmas usually, is when the highest demand for poinsettias comes.
After receiving the vegetative propagations, it's important to plant them in a 4 to 6.5 inch pot with well-draining media. This media should be kept at a 5.5 to 6.5 pH for optimum growth conditions. You can put more cuttings into larger pots so that you can sell them for more value in the December market. To hit this December market, you must plant cuttings in August so that they are large enough and able to hit the reproductive growth before December. About 2 weeks after transplanting your cuttings, it's important to pinch your plants. Pinching is removing the apical meristem to release lateral buds located on the nodes from parodormancy. This allows for more lateral branching. It's important to leave 5 to 6 nodes on each plant when pinching, so you will have 5 to 6 colored bracts at the time of selling your plants. It is labor-intensive if done by hand, so machines are commonly used in the commercial industry.
In this stage of production, we increase the plant's biomass and height. A nighttime interruption can be used to prevent the early induction of flowering by having a light on during the night. Rings are put around the pots to support the increasing biomass of the plant, and PGRs are used to control height so that they do not get too tall. During the reproductive growth stage, the nighttime interruptions are discontinued and the plant is allowed to initiate flowering and begin bract development. This usually occurs sometime around October 1st, and the grower must ensure that the night is completely uninterrupted by any light, or this can prevent the leaves from changing color. Some growers even deploy a black cloth. This long uninterrupted night will allow the leaves to change colors, developing the very sought-after flower-like feature of the plant, also known as a bract. Also, continue PGR applications to control height. For the water and fertilizer management of poinsettias, hand water the plants until they are spaced far enough apart to be put on drip irrigation until the end of the growing cycle. Water as needed and allow the plants to dry out between watering events, but not to the point of wilting damage. Watering frequency will depend on the plant growth stage and the environmental conditions, as well as the cultivar or variety. Water until it drips through to the bottom and avoid watering the foliage. Aim for 200 to 300 parts per million nitrogen when constantly fertilizing, or 400 to 500 parts per million nitrogen when fertilizing weekly. Recommended to use 20-10-20 or 15-5-15 complete fertilizer with high calcium magnesium levels.
Plant growth regulators are chemicals that are used to manipulate the growth of plants. In poinsettia production, plant growth regulators are used to control plant height. The most typical ideal height for poinsettias is 16 to 18 inches. And without the use of PGRs, poinsettias would grow much taller and not be as aesthetically pleasing. So PGRs are used in poinsettia production, which inhibits cell elongation, resulting in shorter internodes, which creates a more compact, ideal-looking plant. So throughout the season, the height of poinsettias should be tracked, and based on how tall and how fast they're growing, growers make the decision to apply PGRs as needed to slow down the growth. Some commonly used PGRs in poinsettia production are Cycocil and B9 mix, which is usually applied as a spray, and paclobutrazol, which is usually used later in the season and applied as a drench. And it should be noted that growers should be careful and mindful of PGR application because it can actually affect bract development and bract size. You don't want to over PGR, so you kind of have to hit that middle ground of controlling height without affecting your bract development. So we've already talked about a lot of the cultural practices that are involved in typical poinsettia production, but to reiterate, cultivar selection is one of the biggest ones, and specifically in north central Florida, we look for heat tolerance and pest and disease resistance. The high temperatures in Florida can create really big issues for growers. The plants grow too fast and they may experience heat delay, which is a big problem. Another cultural practice used is pinching, which facilitates lateral branching and results in fuller plants with more color, so you get more bracts that way. PGR applications are another big cultural practice. Greenhouse sanitation to exclude and prevent disease and pests is a big one, just keeping your greenhouse clean, keeping debris off the floor, general greenhouse practices. And fluffing is a cultural practice that not all growers do. It's very labor intensive, but it's the term for physically bringing the developing bracts to the top of the plant canopy. So it creates a more aesthetically pleasing plant because it ensures that your bracts are visible and on top of the canopy, so just makes your plants look bigger and better. As with growing most crops, there are a lot of pest and disease problems when growing poinsettias. One of the most common pest issues are whiteflies, which are little hemipteran insects, sapsuckers that suck the phloem from your plants. So some of the ways to control those are yellow sticky tape, which physically kills them. Trap crops like papaya and hibiscus are also used, and chemical application of insecticides are also really common. Pythium root rot, which is a water mold, is also a really common issue. It clogs the xylem of plants, and that's the picture on the right there is a plant with Pythium showing common symptoms, the wilting. So to deal with that, you can allow plants to dry out in between watering events. Rogue infected plants and apply a fungicide can also help with that. Botrytis is another common issue, and to help with that, ensuring adequate airflow and removing dead plant material and applying a fungicide can also help. Other issues include fungus gnats, poinsettia hornworms, spider mites, scale, and bacterial cankers.
The ideal temperature range for poinsettias is between 75 and 80 degrees in the daytime and around 60 degrees at night. Too hot and you may see a heat delay, which will cause a delay in bract color change. Too cold and there will be damage to plants since they cannot withstand temperatures below 50 degrees. Poinsettias are short day plants. They initiate flowering and bract development when nights are above 12 hours. And you want to initiate long nights around October 1st in order to make the December market. Poinsettias are the best-selling potted plant in the United States and Canada. Sales contribute over $250 million to the U.S. economy, and most poinsettias are sold in November and December as a holiday plant. And these are our sources. Thank you.